Hey, what's going on, traders? It's Johnny here with Trader X. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into the channel. I hope you guys have all been enjoying your Thursday today and we're all able to end green. But as usual, I want to go ahead and give you guys a breakdown and let you guys know exactly how my day trading went today. And quick disclaimer, right? I am trading on a simulation account this week, as you guys can see on the top left, right? It's always important for me to make you guys aware of that because I don't want to mislead anyone and make them think that I'm trading real money this week, right? So this week has been completely paper money, and the main reason for that is I haven't been performing too well in terms of my last few weeks of trading. So I wanted to, take the time to actually trade in a simulation account, gain some confidence back, right? Gain some of that consistency back. And, until I feel I'm ready to switch back to real money, then I'm going to go ahead and do that. But for anyone wondering, I am trading with $10,000 fake money. And the reason for that is I normally use $10,000 real money to trade. But as I mentioned, my performance hasn't been the best. So right? I'm deciding to practice using a simulation account. So I'm going to go ahead and get right into today's recap. Today is going to be a pretty, brief recap. So as you guys can tell, it was another green day. I was up $101.89 on TQQQ, and I had only one order, right? So I got this, somehow to work. It's been glitching out on me, but I finally got it to work. And so, as you guys can see, I only took one trade, right? And I was able to make $101. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know exactly how I did that. So looking at the NASDAQ, right? What I saw pretty much going on was this thing was uptrending, right? All pre-market, right? And indicating signs of a higher high, higher low, right? It would end up pulling on back to the middle VWAP before it bounced. And as we can tell right at market open, right, which is right at this area here. So it was selling off right heading into the market open. We found a support, ended up bouncing to middle VWAP, and then we completely got rejected and started to sell off, right? And so as you guys know, at market open, direction can change very quickly, right? So this thing was uptrending all of pre-market, as you guys noticed. And as soon as market opened, this thing started to change direction on the day. And so it is pretty typical of the NASDAQ to trade that way, right? Especially with all the increase in volume at market open, it can really, cause this thing to change direction. So it's not like just because this thing was indicating signs of an uptrend during pre-market, it has to continue, right? As you guys can see, this thing actually changed direction. And so how was I able to make my money? Well, as you guys can tell, I bought into TQQQ at 643 and sold at 714, right? So why did I buy in at 643? Well, this thing started to get rejected, right? Very aggressively, right? And it's mainly due to the increase in volume, right, at market open, as I mentioned. And so I was pretty much just sitting back and letting this thing bleed, right? This thing was continuously getting rejected by the EMA, as you guys can tell right over here, right? Anytime it tried to bounce, as you guys can see on these small green candles, instantly got rejected, right? Made lower lows, lower highs. And right around this area, you guys will see, right? We did find a nice bounce here. And so I decided to buy in right around this area. And the main reason for that is A, I saw this thing starting to bounce. And B, right, this thing sold off very quickly to the point where I thought we could actually, correct ourselves a bit. And if we take a little step back, right, the past 5 days of the NASDAQ, it typically tends to find a support around the bottom VWAP, right? Obviously here, this day, right, when the FOMC meeting was released, and so it caused the market to tank very aggressively, right? But it did find a support at bottom VWAP again. Once again, this thing continued to uptrend. As we saw at market open, it was tanking. And so as it got closer to the bottom VWAP, right, and then I did see it start to form a bit of a support, I felt like it was, a good enough trade to send. So I decided to buy into TQQ there at 643, right? And what you guys will notice is it did bounce very quickly, but then, right, this thing it bounced, but then started to get rejected. So I was in the green right away, probably up around $70-$80. And as this thing continued to get rejected, I slowly, right, gave all of it back and then was entering the red. So at the low point, I was probably down on my trade, right? About, you know, I would say about $70-$80. So it was a hefty amount I was down, right? But this thing ultimately ended up actually correcting itself. And for all of those wondering where my stop was going to be, it was literally going to be right below this bottom VWAP level, right? So if it broke below 11,565, I was gonna sell out. So I got really lucky on this trade, right? So this thing ended up finding a support exactly right where I was gonna cut losses if it broke below. Ended up bouncing, broke above the EMA, right? And then it ended up pulling back a bit, bounced off the EMA again, and continued to form this higher high, right? And because of the fact that it was looking a little more overbought, right? And we did see a previous support, a strong support pre-market around this area, right? It previously bounced around there here, and then it did so right around here, right? Right at market open. And so ultimately previous support levels can become new resistance levels, right? So I thought that this thing had potential, so let me extend it to the right, right, to act as a resistance, and exactly how it ended up doing. And so because of that, I ended up cutting my trade there for a profit. So that's how I was able to make $101. Super blessed on that, right? And as we know, this thing ended up pulling on back very aggressively, right? So I was very happy that I was able to cut my trade there and identify a potential resistance level. And then this thing ended up just selling off on the day, right? So I decided to call it there because I was just happy, right? My daily goal is to hit 1% a day. And the fact that I was able to do that by, you know, 45 minutes into market open was just, I was very happy with the play. The fact that it was only one trade, I kept it super simple, right? And that's that. So obviously there was more money to be made on the day, right? As this thing really started to sell off and then formed a bounce on the bottom VWAP, right? This thing actually ended up reversing itself. So, if you wanted to take this trade, right? Doesn't mean you have to. If you didn't see value in it, you obviously don't have to do anything. But if you wanted to take a play right around bottom VWAP again, right? From the highs it ended up hitting, that would have been a pretty decent trade, over a 7% trade, right? Because although this has 1.5, or I don't know where I got 7%, sorry. I meant 4.5%. And so the main reason for that is, although it says 1.5% on the NASDAQ, you guys have to realize that I'm trading the triple leverage ETFs, right? So for every 1 percentage point that the Nasdaq moves up, TQQQ will move up 3 times that, right? So from the lows it was at to the highs it ended up recovering, as I mentioned, almost 4.5%. So that is absolutely incredible. I hope many of you were able to take advantage of that play there. And yeah, that's ultimately everything I wanted to talk about today, right? The Nasdaq was trading pretty choppy, changing directions very quickly, right? But as long as you were able to identify where was it, where was it normally typically bouncing around and where was it getting rejected, right? It would have made sense to take trades between these areas, right? So this was more of a support level here, acted as more of a support, and then we obviously know where the resistance levels were, so you could have traded in between this little interval here if you really wanted to, but that's up to you. Days like today where the direction's changing very quickly, it's obviously not the worst idea to sit out and not even take a trade, right? Because with the constant changing in direction, I know it definitely could have gotten so choppy that I could have lost money if I continued to trade. So I'm very happy that I was able to lock in my 1% and be done for the day. But that's everything I wanted to talk about. If you guys have any questions at all, go ahead and drop a comment. If you want me to break down any stock indicator, go ahead and let me know in the comments, and I'm more than happy to do that for you. And if you guys are new to the channel and really did appreciate the video, we would really appreciate it if you guys drop a like and subscribe. It really means a lot to me. But yeah, that's that. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be posting a recap tomorrow. My brother is going to take over and post tomorrow because I'm not going to have the time to trade. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that. And he will be trading real money, not on a simulation account, just FYI. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys were all able to end green today. I hope you guys all take care. Have a good rest of your day. And as always, we will see you guys tomorrow. Take care.